All right, guys, let's go ahead and quickly have a closer look at everything that comes included with the kit. So starting off over here into the middle with the Obsbot Talent itself, I'm going to be sharing with you guys everything you need to know about this device throughout the course of this video. Over here, we do have an AC/DC power supply, which is going to allow us to plug it into the wall and power the Talent. And we do have 4 different wall plug style adapters over here. So no matter where you're located in the world, it's going to meet your needs. Over here, we do have a metal sun hood, which is going to be very helpful when we want to use the Talent in an outdoors bright environment. Here we do have 2 little mini stands that we can actually mount to the back of the Talent and allow us to prop it up if we want to rest it onto a table. Over here we do have a quick start guide user manual. Here we do have a power notice card, and along with 2 little screws over here, which are going to help us install the sun hood onto the Talent itself. So let's go ahead and get a little bit more familiar with the Talent and all the connections and all these additional features that this Talent has to offer. All right, guys, so to get you a little bit more familiar with the Talent itself, why don't we go ahead and talk about the display screen, which measures 5.5 inches, and it is an AMO LED display screen with an aspect ratio of 16:9 and a resolution of 1920 by 1080 with a brightness of maximum 350 nits and a color depth of 8-bit, contrast ratio of 6,000 to 1, and a refresh rate of 60 Hertz. And I will mention it is also a touchscreen. If we go ahead and flip the unit over here to the bottom, you will notice starting off onto the left hand side, we do have an Ethernet connection. Next over here into the middle, we do have a 1/4-20 thread that's going to allow us to mount this, for an example, to a tripod if we would like to. Over here, we do have an SD card, which we can go ahead and load our media, for an example, our logos, our photos, and our videos. We do have a USB-C output, which we can connect to our PC, or we can also connect to another external monitor via a USB-C to HDMI adapter. And over here to the far right hand side, we do have a DC input to power the Talent via the 12 volt / 1.5 amp DC input. And again, we do have that AC/DC adapter included with the kit. Let's go ahead and flip it over here to the top. As you guys can see, we do not have any connections over here. Let's go ahead and totally flip it towards the back over here. So starting off onto the left hand side, you will notice that we do have an MPF battery slot along with the right hand side labeled 1 and 2. Into the middle over here, we do have an internal cooling fan, and we do also have these 2 little unlocking mechanisms over here that's going to allow us to unlock the MPF battery from the Talent. And I will also mention in regards to powering this via the MPF battery, so it only takes 1 MPF battery to actually power the Talent, which basically means that if one battery is running low, we can go ahead and put in a new MPF battery that is fully charged and continue our live stream or our recording, whatever we're doing, and we can go ahead and swap out the dead battery. So it does support hot swapping as well, which is definitely a very nice feature. And you'll also notice over here that we do have these 2 small LEDs, which we can configure to be either tally lights or also battery level indicators as well. Let's go ahead and flip this device over here to the left hand side. So starting off over here to the right hand side, as you guys can see, we do have the HDMI input number 1, we do have HDMI input number 2, and we do also have a USB-A 3.0 connection, which is also going to allow us to connect multiple devices. For an example, we can connect the Obsbot Tail Air PTZ camera, the Obsbot Tiny Series camera, along with the Meet series, other UVC webcams, along with a network dongle and a U-disc as well. If we go ahead and flip the unit over here to the other side, starting off onto the left hand side over here, we do have a 3.5mm audio input, which we can either select to be a microphone input or a line input. We can set that within the menu. Over here, we do have an output jack, so we can monitor the audio in real life time with our headphones. Over here, we do have another USB Type A 3.0 connection, which again is going to allow us to connect those same devices as we would to the other USB-A connection. For an example, the Tail Air, the Tiny series, the Meet series, other general UVC cameras, a network dongle, or a U-disc. And finally over here, we do have the power on and off button. We can just go ahead and simply press it and hold it to power it on or to turn it off. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get you guys a little bit more familiar with my Talent setup for today's video. Starting off over here to the bottom right-hand corner, this is the DC input, which is supplying power to the Talent. And again, the AC/DC adapter is included. So I'm just simply powering the Talent by plugging it into the wall. If I go ahead and flip it over to the back over here, these two MPF battery slots, I do not have MPF batteries installed, again, because I'm powering it via the DC input, but I do have these little adjustable mini legs over here that are basically going to elevate the Talent off the table, and the fan and the cooling management system can do its thing and not overheat the device. So those are very nice and useful. So let's go ahead and get familiar with the rest of the connections that we have over here. So starting off bottom left-hand corner, this is an HDMI input number 1, which is coming from one of my cameras. I'll share with you guys which camera that is shortly. Next over here, we do have HDMI input number 2, again, which is coming from one of my cameras. Over here into the middle, the USB 3.0. This is actually coming from the Obsbot Meet 2 webcam, 4K webcam, 30 frames per second. Over here to the right-hand side, we do have a USB 3.0, another one, and this is actually coming from a Logitech webcam as well. Over here, we do have a headphone jack, so I can go ahead and monitor the audio with my headphones. And over here, finally, we do have a microphone input, which I am using the Rode Wireless Pro microphone kit. This is the receiver right now, which is being plugged in over here to the side of the Talent. And finally, over here to the bottom left-hand corner, we do have the Ethernet network connection, which is supplying a hardwired connection to the Talent, so we can live stream directly from the Talent as well. Also, I wanted to point out over here that I do have an SD card installed into the Talent, so I can access all of my images and audios and videos that I want to incorporate into my live stream. So I'm going to go ahead and get you guys a little bit more familiar with all the menus and settings and features. I'm definitely not going to be able to cover everything in this video, but I definitely want to get you guys more comfortable on being able to get started and a bunch of the features that I would like to really kind of share with you. So if there's anything that I do not cover in this video, definitely let me know in the comment section down below so I can go ahead and share with you guys in more detail. So next, one of the very first things that I want to go ahead and do is actually enable the recording onto the Talent over here, which is going to help me for this video so I can kind of get different views and angles and kind of just incorporate everything into the final review video. So let's go ahead and tap onto the screen anywhere. And right over here, we do have this little circle button, which is basically the record button. So let's go ahead and press that. And as you can see, now it is highlighted in red and it is recording. And over here towards the top, we do have the timer basically counting up to show that it is also recording. Also onto the top left-hand side, we do have the audio level meters. And you can see over here, we do have some numbers and megabits per second. And those are highlighted in red right now and kind of just fluctuating because I do have NDI actually enabled as well. And that's why this little live stream button over here is illuminated in red. As you can see over here, I do have my YouTube Leopazzo TV connected. I am not live streaming to YouTube right now, but if I wanted to, all I need to do is go ahead and press connect, and it's going to allow me to live stream. I can go ahead and live stream to Twitch, Facebook, but what I do have connected right now is the Talent NDI. So I'm basically using the NDI feature right now. I'm using the output of the NDI from the Talent, and I'm sending it over to my PC. So I'm also being able to record this onto OBS. So that's exactly what I'm doing right now. I'm recording it on my camera. I'm recording right now onto the Talent, and I'm also recording in OBS. So I'm going to have a bunch of different angles to basically incorporate into this video. And again, I am using NDI tools on my PC to basically accept that NDI signal from the Talent. And then from there, I actually have OBS opened up, and I'm actually using the NDI source on OBS to basically accept that NDI signal. And that's how I'm actually recording in OBS. So you do not need to use a PC with this device, but I'm just going to be taking advantage of that NDI output feature for today's video so I can also have another additional recording. And as you see over here, we do have the option to configure the RTMP server and SRT callers as well. So let's just go ahead and close this. So let's go ahead and get you guys a little bit more familiar over here. So at the bottom, you guys can see that we have all of these different boxes, all of these different scenes, all of these kind of different inputs. So that's basically the layout. So right now, as you guys see, here we go, HDMI input number 2. If I wanted to basically see a full screen, I can just go ahead and tap on it, and now I got a full screen. But if you wanted to do any changes or any switches or any kind of configurations of any settings, tap on the screen anywhere. These little scenes inputs are going to come up over here towards the bottom. You can either just scroll left or right. and you can click on any one of them, as you guys see, and basically they just pop up during your live stream. So let's go ahead and take a look at HDMI input number 1. So this is HDMI input number 1, which is coming from my top-down camera, the Panasonic GH6, which is basically giving you guys this view right over here. Let's take a look at HDMI input number 2. HDMI input number 2 is actually a PTZ camera, the Feel World PTZ camera. It's actually supporting 4K 30 frames per second, and it's connected to the Talent via the HDMI input connection. So again, it's really nice to see that the Talent accepts the 4K input signal. Let's go ahead and take a look at one of my other inputs, which is the Obsbot Meet 2. So if you guys recall, onto the left-hand side of the Talent, that USB 3.0 connection, that's exactly what I've done. I've connected the Obsbot Meet 2. This is also a webcam, but it supports 4K 30 frames per second. Fantastic image quality is looking amazing. And I have configured in the Obsbot Center software on my PC for the Meet 2 to be on auto focus and manual exposure and manual white balance. And as you guys can see, the image quality coming from this camera is looking fantastic. Let's go ahead and take a look at my next input over here, which is the Logitech camera over here. So I'm kind of just going to be using this one over here, this camera. Let me just go ahead and turn it around. So yeah, this is the Logitech camera, USB camera, and that's connected to the second USB 3.0 connection. And I kind of just figured, why don't I use this camera to kind of just show you guys around in a little bit more detail. So why don't I go ahead and do that? So I haven't talked about the other cameras coming up, but I do also have two PTZ cameras, which are the Obsbot Tail Airs. Why don't I go ahead and show you? So here is one of the tail airs right over here. And this tail air is actually connected via NDI to the Talent. Over here is another tail air, and this one's also connected via NDI to the Talent. There is the Meet 2, as we were talking about. There is my top-down camera, the Panasonic GH6, and there is the Feel World PTZ camera as well. So the Talent is not just capable of working with the Obsbot webcams, but also any other UVC webcams as well. So now that you guys are familiar with that, again, this is the Meet 2. This is the Logitech. Let's take a look at some footage from the tail air. So this is the tail air over here. Again, as we talked about, it's connected to the Talent via NDI, and it's looking like it's doing a fantastic job. And I do have a remote control right over here that I've configured some presets, and I can just go ahead and select one of these presets, and it's going to go to the preset location, zoom in, etc., autofocus and auto exposure. So let's go ahead to preset number 3, and you can see there's the Feel World camera. Again, back to preset number 2. There is the Meet 2 webcam by Obsbot, and here is the other tail air as I was showing you, and then back over here to the side angle view of the Talent itself. So you can see my HDMI connections, my Ethernet connection, and also my power cable, etc. So just to kind of get multiple different angles for you guys. So why don't we go ahead to take a look at the other tail air, which is the one on my right hand side. I have it labeled as tail air right. So bang, here we go. This is the tail air onto my right hand side over here, and as you can see, it's just giving you guys a shot at the side of the Talent. So let's go ahead to preset number 2. Here we go, just giving you guys a closer shot over here of the Meet 2 webcam that I just have onto this tripod. I don't need to use this remote control. I do not need to use this remote control. This is the smart remote control from Obsbot, but if I wanted to just go ahead and quickly show you guys that I can go directly over here onto the Talent, and I can zoom out, I can zoom in, I can adjust the focus. I can store some presets if I want to. I can touch the presets to go. So like, here's preset number 2. I just touched it onto the Talent. I'm not using the remote control. Preset number 3, back to preset number 1. So I have full control, PTZ controls of this tail air, both of the tail airs, even over NDI. So that is really nice feature. We could also enable human tracking. So why don't we go ahead and just briefly try that? Let's bring this over to the side. Let's bring this up. Yep. Let's go ahead and zoom out. Okay, so the exposure might not be the best right now because I got these two big lights beside me with softboxes, but let's go ahead and enable human tracking. This bad boy is going to be able to track me around just like that, enabling the human tracking, and it's going to move around and follow me according to wherever I kind of move around. So that's definitely a really nice feature. So let's go ahead and turn it off, the human tracking. Let's go back to P1 over here. and bang, we're grooving. All right, so now that you guys are a little bit more familiar with that feature, let's take a look at some additional inputs that I've added over here. So just some simple stuff. So for an example, I have my Leo Pazzo logo, Leo Pazzo Productions. I have it in black, and I also have it in white. So depending on what I want to show, on how I'm feeling, on which color. We also got another image over here. And again, I loaded all of these images and videos via the SD card. So I've just kind of configured this to the layout that I like to use. Here we have another one, live stream, and we can adjust the size and positioning as we like, but I just left these all as full screen. Here we do have basically a replay, like an intro to our replay. So whenever I want to capture a replay, before that replay actually plays, it's going to play this little video over here. So I can go ahead and do that by pressing the play button. And now I can cut to basically another video if I wanted to, or to actually cut to an instant replay or whatever. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of these other configuration scenes that I've adjusted over here. As you guys can see, this is a picture-in-picture. So it's showing you guys the talent over here onto the table. And it's also showing me in the picture-in-picture at the small top right-hand corner, just kind of explaining everything. Let's go ahead and take a look at another one. So here is another one right over here. You basically got me from the PTZ camera, the bigger image, and then I got the Meet 2 right over here, which is the picture-in-picture over here to the top left-hand side. And let's go to another one over here that I've configured. You can see that I have the top-down shot over there in red, and I also have the Meet 2 there onto the bottom left. I have my logo onto the top right, and I've also added some text. So I was able to do this all right here within the talent, super easy, and I'll show you guys how to do that shortly. Let's go ahead and tap on the next one. This one I actually really do like because it's bright, it looks cool, I like the layout. I've added text, I added an image, I added the 2 video sources. Like, that actually reminds me, if you look at the top-down view, that's actually upside down. So why don't we go ahead and show you guys how to, or at least try to adjust it to show you how that can be done. Press and hold on that scene. I'm going to go to edit. And now I'm going to click on that red top-down view, and I'm going to go over here and click horizontal flip and vertical flip. Bang, we're good. Let's go ahead and press save. So now, as you guys see, look at this. Fantastic. It's actually the right way. So those are my different inputs. I do actually have one more that I was working on right over here. I just basically added an image and I put some text there at the top. So we have nice full control of the text as far as the color and the font and positioning and sizing and all of that. There's really quite a bit to be able to do over here. So if we wanted to add a new input, we can just go ahead and click on this plus button. And over here, you can see, okay, well, what do you want to do? Add an HDMI 1 or 2, webcam 1 or 2. Do you want to add a video clip? Do you want to add a picture, RTMP pull, RTMP push, SRT stream, or NDI stream? So for an example, I'm going to go ahead and add a picture. So where do I want to get that picture from? Internal storage or from the SD card? I'm going to use the SD card. Let's go ahead and just scroll down over here. Let's use one of these bokeh ones over here. It's a JPEG image. We can adjust the size if we want, and we can do a bunch of different stuff. Adjust the transparency, the label, the framing, the crop, the size, the position, the transition as well. So let's just keep that as is, and let's go ahead and add another layer. So I'm going to click this button over here to the top left. Okay, now it's saying, okay, well, what else do you want to add? I want to add maybe, let's see, HDMI 2. I want an HDMI 2, and I'm going to drag that. Let's go to the top right-hand corner. Let's make it a little bit bigger. So what else do I want? I want to add something else. Let's add maybe a webcam. So webcam Meet 2, which is webcam 1. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Let's put this to the bottom right-hand corner over here. That's looking pretty good. I'm happy with that. All right, so what else do I want to do? I want to add some text maybe. So let's click the plus icon again. Let's click this text. Okay, so let's go ahead and tap on the text over here, so we can enter in the text that we want to add in. So what do we want to add in right now? Let's go with Obsbot Talent. Boom, let's go save. Perfect. Let's go with, let's tap on the text. Let's adjust the font. Let's maybe make it a little bit bolder. Let's tap on font again. We're going to adjust the color. What color do we want? Maybe we want like a light blue color, or we want like a dark blue color. What color is going to show good? Yellow. Is yellow going to show good? Yeah, yellow could work. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Let's bring it over here to the side. Let's position it to where we want to. Let's bring it over here. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Boom, I'm pretty happy with that. That's looking pretty good. I'm happy with that. What else do we want to add here to the bottom left-hand corner? Let's press the plus icon. Let's add image, picture. Okay, let's scroll down. Let's add one of my logos for an example. Let's find one of my logos. Here is one. That's a PNG. What else do we got? So let's add this logo right over here. Leopazzo white logo. Let's add that one. Okay, so let's make this a little bit bigger. What we're going to do this time, we're going to actually crop it. So we can do like a 1:1 crop, 16:9, 4:3. I like to use the free one because it just allows you to freely position everything how you would like to. And that looks pretty good. I cropped it to the way I like. Let's press save. Good. Let's make this a little bit smaller. Looking good. And let's add in right there. Okay, so you guys can now see the final result. I'm just going to scroll over here to the right. Bang, there is my final result. Look at that, looks pretty good. I got some text at the top right. I got those 2 video images playing. I got a background, really nice configuration, multi-view setup over here. I'm really happy with that. I wanted to go into the menu. So let's click over here to the top left-hand corner of the screen, right over here, top left-hand corner, and you can go over here to settings. So this is where we're going to be able to adjust a bunch of different settings, obviously. So one thing that you're going to probably want to do when first starting with your talent, you want to connect a network connection or some sort of internet connection so you can live stream. So let's just go ahead and select network, and you can see the options that we have available over here. Cellular, we got Wi-Fi, Ethernet, or hotspot and tether. So depending on how you want to connect your talent to the internet, you can easily do that right over there. Next over here, we got the Bluetooth connection settings. We got the display settings. So for an example, we can adjust the brightness. Again, 350 nits. We'll just keep it at full right now. We'll just leave everything as default right over there. We got the audio. So we can go ahead and configure a bunch of audio settings over here if we would like to. Also with the audio delay. As far as the storage, again, we have internal storage and also the SD card as well. So you can basically configure on where do you want that recording to record to. We got encoding. So I've set 2 different encodes over here, encode 1 and encode 2. So encode 1 is 1080p 60 frames per second at 6 megabits per second. And encode 2 is H.264 as well, 1080p 30 frames per second. So let's back out over here. We got the stream settings. So basically this is where you would go ahead and confirm your account with your live streaming platform. So therefore they would just show up on that other page when you're just ready to go live. So as you guys can see, YouTube Leopazzo TV and also Facebook Leopazzo TV I've configured, and then also with the NDI as well. So what else do we got? We got the recording. So again, we got local recording and the tail air. So let's just go ahead and click that for now. As you guys can see, the files MP4, the device name, the save path, etc. So all those kind of configurations you can do. What else? We got the switching. So I got scene quick switch. I like to have that on. So you just basically tap versus I can go ahead and demonstrate. So why don't we go ahead and shut this off, because some of you guys might like a different style switch. So now when I go ahead and press another input for an example, it's not going to instantly or quickly switch to that. It's basically just going to show me a preview of that input, and then I can go ahead and decide, okay, do I want to cut to it now or fade to it now? So let's go ahead and demonstrate. There's a quick little cut. Let's go ahead and press another one over here. So now I have the option again to either cut to it or fade. This time let's go ahead and use fade, and we can adjust the duration as well. So here's another fade, here's another fade, here's another fade. So you guys get the general idea. It's actually super easy to use. So let's go back over here to this one. We got another fade, another fade. So we'll just keep it like that for now. So let's go back over here to the menu. Let's go to settings. So we just looked at switch. Let's go ahead and turn it back off. So as you see now, when I go back and switch, you just tap it. One touch, nice, quick and easy, quick switch, and it goes automatically to that input. So it all depends on how you want to configure your setup over here, the talent. The back LEDs, so again, as we talked about, we can use them as battery indicator LEDs, or we can set them up for LEDs for the tally lights as well. So that is really nice, actually. USB Type-C connection, but again, we can go ahead and configure the USB-C output over here. So again, we can connect it to our PC. So basically, instead of using NDI connected to our PC wirelessly, which I'm doing, we can actually use the USB-C output connected to our PC. And if we wanted to, we can use any other software as well. And the Talent will be recognized, for an example, like a video input, like a webcam, for an example. So everything that we do here on the Talent will show up on that software as well. So we do have a replay option as well. So we can go ahead and turn replay on or off. So I'm actually just going to leave it on for now. Replay buffer length 20 seconds. Camera replay, we're going to use camera 1. Camera replay number 2. Again, I can't activate 2 of them for now because I'm doing quite a bit on the Talent, so there's only so many frames that it can handle. Duration of event replay, let's go ahead and adjust this. We'll maybe put it to like 10 seconds. Duration of quick replay, replay end action. So this is where I've actually added that replay video. So overlay replay watermark. So I have that on. And I also have a stinger as well for that replay. So I just want to go ahead and click on that, and I can click from my videos that I have onto my SD card. And as you guys saw, those videos of my replay, that's basically how I've configured that right over there. We also have the OSC controls as well, so we can go ahead and configure all of this. And over here, finally, we have the system. So over here, we can adjust the language, time and date, see the firmware and reset and device status, etc. So let's go ahead and click on device status. As you guys can see, I'm using 41% approximately of the CPU. The memory is about 68%, temperature, etc., and free space and fan speed. So overall, nice information. So now that you guys are a little bit more familiar with the menu settings over here, briefly, I wanted to take a look at some additional settings over here. So let's go ahead and click another input. So you'll notice that we do have these little icons over here. Let's start off onto the one onto the left-hand side, which is basically the audio mixer. So taking a look over here at the audio mixer, I can scroll to the left or scroll to the right. So every input that I add gets its own audio mixer level that I can fully adjust. So starting off onto the left-hand side, that is the final program output. So I can adjust that if I need to. I can also monitor via the headphones, and there's my headphone monitoring, the second one over here, so I can adjust the volume on my headphones. Here's my microphone. You can see that is the only audio level meter that is moving besides the program. So basically, whatever audio that I have coming into my microphone over here is being sent to my program, and the audio level looks like it's really nice. As you can see, I have adjusted over there. And we do have USB audio, which is one of my webcams, another USB audio, which is another one of the webcams, HDMI 1 and 2. So both of those cameras can also be adjusted, the audio for there. We have those 2 tail layers, which are connected NDI. You can see over there, we can adjust the audio for there, but let's go ahead and click the X to exit out of here. Next over here, we do have GFX, so graphic effects. We can go ahead and click on that so we can add different effects. So let's press the plus icon. So we have titles, lower thirds, animated text, a digital clock, analog clock, bullet list, social media, logos, scoreboard, timer, stopwatch, web page, and custom. So many options just alone in this one setting over here. So let's go ahead and close that. Let's take a look at what else we have available. We have this little replay icon. Let's go ahead and click on that, and what that's going to do is create a replay. So it's playing that video, and now it's showing what I just captured as a replay. Okay, so that's really nice. I can actually pause it right there. I can bring it back if I want to, back from the beginning. I can even adjust the speed if I want to as well, so I can slow it down. This is really nice to be able to have all of this control as far as the replay. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what other options. We have these 3 dots over here. Let's go ahead and click on these 3 dots. Okay, and over here we got a couple options. So the remote controller, we can configure that. The pen, this is actually a cool feature over here. So let's go ahead and go to another shot. Let's go to this shot right here. So here's a quick example. Let's go ahead and enable the pen. I just enabled the pen, and now for an example, when I'm talking about something, maybe even during a replay, I can be like, look guys, this is the USB cable that I have connected to one of the webcams. Okay, and here is my microphone input right over there. And you know what? I want to change the color to red right now because this is the power button. So now I can kind of just circle things or put arrows towards things. And basically I've pre-configured within the menu, so it basically only appears for a certain duration. So for an example, I can press this setting icon over here. As you see, those little pen marks kind of just fade away, but we can adjust the size of the pen marks, auto clear if we would like to, and set the duration. So it's really nice. And maybe say I drew something and I made a mistake, I can go ahead and quickly delete that as well. So really impressed with that. That is definitely a really nice feature. So let's click on these three dots. What else do we have? We looked at the pen. We can set different events. Event replay currently right now is just grayed out. We got fade to black settings. We got freeze settings, switch settings as well, rearrange and the size, and custom. Okay, so now if I want to go ahead and add the scoreboard for an example, I go ahead and tap on the screen, tap on these three dots over here. I'm going to go to GFX, click on that. And now when I go ahead and press the plus icon over here, you can see that I have scoreboard right over here. Let's go ahead and click on it. And we have a bunch of scoreboards by default over here. Let's go ahead and select this one. This one looks pretty good. We can adjust the size of it and also the color and the text and the name and obviously the scored. Let's position it right over there. That looks pretty good. Let's press save. Okay, so now if I want to go ahead and enable the scoreboard at any time, I can just go ahead and click on it. And now we have the scoreboard presented right over there to the bottom in the middle of the screen. Really nice. If I want to go ahead and remove it, just like that. We can add more effects. For an example, we got a digital clock or lower thirds. Let's go ahead and add a lower third. Let's click on this one, main title, the top left hand side. Let's go ahead and do this. Let's type something in over here. Let's go Leo Pazzo TV. Capitals look good. The subtitle. Okay, so what do we want to name this one? We're going to go with Talent Review. Perfect, safe, jackpot. We can adjust the size, also the coloring if we want to. Let's position this, where do we want this? Let's go bottom left, make it a little bit smaller. Let's go right there, looks good. Let's go ahead and press save, bingo. So now anytime I want to introduce to that onto my screen during my live stream or my recording, I can easily do that with one touch of a button now that it's configured. So another thing I wanted to go ahead and quickly show you guys. So top left-hand corner, we're going to click onto the menu button. And right over here, you can see that it says create a show, which is basically like the second, third one down. Let's go ahead and click on that. So you can rename the show to whatever you want. And we can also adjust the frames per second. And this is where you're going to be able to adjust to be able to stream in the landscape or the portrait mode, and you can go ahead and create that and save that, and it's basically going to save it as one of your shows. So anytime you're ready to live stream in that orientation with all of those inputs and scenes and configurations, you'll be able to save that nice and quickly, load it. So that is really nice. Another thing that I wanted to show you over here is the show list. So you can go ahead and pick which show that you want to select from your ones that are saved. As you guys can see, 16:9 over here. It's also presenting that's the one that I'm using. So let's go ahead and see what else we got. We got the album. Let's go ahead and click on the album so you can see my videos that I've recorded over here, also my images that I've took, also any images that I have onto my SD card. So again, guys, in total, if I recall correctly, we can add up to 7 different inputs. So we can connect up to 3 NDI inputs, 2 HDMI inputs, and we have the 2 webcam inputs as well via the USB. Well, guys, that looks like a wrap for today's video. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you guys have not subscribed already. For all of you guys that have subscribed, much love. I totally appreciate it. If you do have any questions or comments or anything, let me know down in the comment section down below. I really appreciate you guys tuning in, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys on the next video. Till next time. Peace.